Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, hear how the athletic department is prioritizing mental health for their athletes.
Plus, find out what familiar face will be making his return to Oxford.
Coming up, although it is the fall season, Mississippi is still seeing summer weather. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Juliana Jackson.
And I'm Logan Green. The promotion of mental health awareness is becoming increasingly more important, and leaders at the University of Mississippi are taking steps to ensure it remains that way. NewsWatch reporter Laura Wynn has more on the story.
September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, but the University of Mississippi has taken initiative to highlight the importance of mental health every month. Beginning this summer, Ole Miss Athletics made it mandatory for all staff members to become certified in mental health first aid, something Athletics Director Keith Carter believes is important.
Things have changed a lot for our student athletes and young people in general with social media and just access to information. And we felt like it was something that was really, really important that we not only think about, but we're very intentional about.
With the help of a grant given to the university, Brian Simmons and the athletics counseling staff jumped on board to help certify every athletics department employee.
We're not making them clinical people, but it's helping them to understand what to do if you see that there's a crisis of any kind.
An 8-hour course led by Simmons and sports psychologist Josie Nicholson touches on several aspects of mental health, including depression, anxiety, and how to intervene in a stage of crisis. Simmons notes the positive impact the course has had on the athletics staff.
At the end of our training, we asked them, what are a couple of things you're going to take from this training? And there's never not a good comment. There's always good stuff.
Like Simmons, Carter has seen the benefits of the mental health training in his staff. Laura Wynn, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
A new study reveals that healthcare workers face a higher risk of suicide compared to people who don't work in the medical field. The Journal released a study earlier today. The study shows the likelihood of healthcare workers taking their own lives is 7% higher than others. Registered nurse, healthcare support workers, and health technicians are at a higher risk. Researchers from the study say it highlights the need for better mental health services in the healthcare profession.
The Center for Excellence in Literacy Instruction at the University of Mississippi was awarded a 2023 Volunteer Generation Grant by AmeriCorps to support more youth literacy programming across the state. With the money provided by this grant, CELI will expand its Mission Acceleration Program into 2 new communities, Lee County and Long Beach. This program provides reading instruction to kindergarten and elementary students who struggle to meet their age-appropriate reading benchmarks. Oxford School District Chief of Operations, Colonel Doug Cromwell, announces his retirement. Before joining the Oxford School District, Cromwell served in the Marines for 34 years, embarking on missions across the world, including the team assigned to eliminate Al-Qaeda. After returning from the Marines, he joined the Oxford School District in 2013. The baseball and softball complex and several other building renovations are just a few of his most notable projects. His retirement is set to begin December of 2023, and the Oxford School District will begin their internal search.
Mississippi State's auditor is considering cutting funds in degree programs that don't match the state's workforce needs. In a report published last week, State Auditor Shad White says graduates that get degrees in those areas are usually leave the state after graduation. The program highlighted were women's studies, African American studies, and anthropology. The report recommends funding for degree programs and should be considered alongside Mississippi's workforce needs. It also suggests that graduating more students from high-paying programs and keeping them in Mississippi would boost the state's economy. The Mississippi River is expected to drop the historic lows in the next few days. The river provides transportation for major food supply chains and clean water for millions of people. Now a new issue that can jeopardize the water for many more. Laura Aguirre has more to the story.
The mighty Mississippi, weakened by months of blistering heat and low rainfall, now vulnerable to a new threat, saltwater intrusion.
We don't believe that there's sufficient precipitation in the near term anywhere along the Mississippi River to materially change the conditions for the better.
With no significant rain relief in sight, experts say a saltwater wedge from the Gulf of Mexico will push upriver and could mix with drinking water systems in places like New Orleans. To mitigate the risk, Louisiana officials and the Army Corps of Engineers will start delivering millions of gallons of fresh water to at-risk treatment facilities from plants located above the saltwater wedge.
That water then can be combined with water at the treatment facilities to create a mixture that is safe for treatment.
Engineers also plan to add 25 feet to an existing underwater levee, or sill, designed to slow the saltwater wedge's progression north, temporarily.
Without significant rain in the immediate future, the augmented saltwater sill will too be overtopped.
Louisiana's governor declared a state of emergency to tap federal assistance earlier this month and announced plans to send shipments of bottled water to New Orleans.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're bringing every resource to bear that is reasonably necessary to help us deal with this challenge.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Ole Miss is expanding their dining options for students due to the rising number of enrollments. Students can have their pick from new dining options like Rebel Pizza Company, The Farm Stand, Everbowl, and Jimmy John's. Rebel Pizza Company will be a Starship exclusive, open from 8 p.m. until midnight. Farm Stand will be a food truck with local grown food, and Everbowl will be in Minor Hall. The menu will have vegan bowls and smoothies. Students are excited about the new food options, but it's not clear when construction will begin.
New Albany police detained a suspect for shoplifting at a local Walmart Monday afternoon. Video footage showed officers responding to the scene at approximately 4:15 p.m. Two New Albany police cars surrounded a U-Haul truck in front of the store. The truck contained electronics that may have been stolen from various stores in Mississippi. More information is expected to be released later in the week. Morgan Wallen left a sour taste for many of you during his visit earlier this year, but he is ready to make amends with the Oxford community. Wallen will be returning to Vaught Hemingway Stadium on April 20th, 2024 as part of his One Night at a Time tour, a phrase that many of you found he meant literally after he canceled his second concert due to vocal problems earlier this year. If you bought a ticket for the canceled show, then you will have access to early pre-sale tickets. Fans can register now up until October 1st at midnight.
Well, are you a Morgan Wallen fan?
I am a Morgan Wallen fan, and I got a little country in me. I know a few songs.
Okay, yeah, I was there whenever he canceled his night here in Oxford, and I know a lot of fans were aggravated,
Yes.
but I bet he'll sell out.
Yeah, he will.
Yes.
Definitely.
Coming up, a government shutdown has many Americans worried about what will happen next.
And how much more of you are willing to pay for you to find the love of your life, this story and more after the break. You're watching NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Hey, Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Because picking up litter costs us time
and money.
MDOT spends $3.2 million a year picking up litter.
That's money that could be used to maintain roads and bridges,
patch potholes,
and focus on improving Mississippi's infrastructure.
Please help us help you.
We can't do it without you.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
I'm here at the scene of tomorrow's shooting, where a 15-year-old will kill 4 children, 2 adults, and then turn the gun on himself.
When the shooting starts happening tomorrow, first I'll probably just think it's firecrackers or a car backfiring or something.
He told some of us that his dad kept a gun in his closet, and he always talked about using it on, the people that bullied him. Tomorrow I'll probably say that I wish I told someone.
After the shooting, we're gonna feel pretty bad about picking on him, but until then, we'll probably just keep doing it because he's pretty weird.
Tomorrow I'll probably point out that something has seemed off with him since the beginning of the school year.
And I'm now joined by the officers who will be the first responders tomorrow. What additional details can you share with us?
Well, someone is expected to tell us after the shooting that the shooter has been posting on social media about doing this for weeks.
So how will you explain the shooting to your daughter?
Actually, I won't get to explain it to her because she won't make it.
This is Christine Lynn, reporting from the scene of another shooting we'll say we never saw coming.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. More information is being released of an officer-involved shooting in Rochester, New York on Monday night that left one person injured. The police chief says the suspect is a 26-year-old who is well known to Rochester police and has a criminal record. Police say shots were fired around 9:45 p.m. on Monday. When police arrived to the scene, they saw a truck speeding away with its lights off. Officers chased that truck, which eventually crashed into a pole. The suspect then got out of the vehicle and started running. According to the city's police chief, that's when the officer tried to use his taser, but was unsuccessful.
So, we have shots fired on 7th Street. We have evidence of that. We have the vehicle pursuit. We have the vehicle crash. We have a gun recovered in the vehicle. We have a gun recovered at the scene of the struggle with the officer, along with a large amount of drugs.
The police officer involved in the shooting was taken to the hospital for treatment and has since been released.
The company Make Believe Ideas is recalling around 260,000 children books, including the famous nursery rhyme, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. The recall is for 7 books under the Rainbow Series board. The plastic binding rings can detach from the books and cause a choking hazard. The recall covers around 12,000 units in Canada as well as 260 units in the U.S. The company got 2 reports of the plastic rings detaching in the U.S. and 1 in Australia. No injuries were reported. As the threat of a government shutdown approaches, many Americans are scared and fear for their wallets. John Lorink reports.
Although inflation in the U.S. is easing from 4-decade highs, financial concerns are rising for many households.
I have to cut down on what I should eat, what I should buy, where I should go. Do I want to go out tonight?
According to a Bank of America survey shared exclusively with CNN, 67% of U.S. employees say the cost of living is increasing faster than their salaries. The study also found 64% of workers say they are stressed about their financial future, while 80% of people between 35 and 44 years old say they feel likewise.
We're forced to make all these bad choices and bad decisions just to live our lifestyles, so it's pretty sad.
A similar, albeit much bigger, situation about money flow is hovering over the Beltline.
Funding the government is one of the most basic fundamental responsibilities of Congress, and if the Republicans in the House don't start doing the job, we should stop electing.
If a deal isn't made by the end of the week, the government will shut down. Among the potential impacts, active military members and Border Patrol agents will go without pay.
I'm looking at it through the lens, how do we prevent this shutdown from, or how do we minimize it from to 10 days instead of 10 weeks? And that starts now, not waiting and keep continuing the finger-pointing game.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
McDonald's is getting saucy, adding 2 new sauces to the fast food chain's sauce lineup for a limited time only. The flavors will include a sweet and spicy jam that has an extra kick from cayenne pepper and the first ever breakfast-inspired sauce, and Mambo sauce, inspired by a tomato-based sauce popular in Washington, D.C. You can try these new sauces for yourself starting October 9th nationwide.
How much would you pay to find your true love? The dating app Tinder announced a new subscription plan that is only offered to less than 1% of users. The premium plan is $499 per month and is the 4th paid tier option joining Tinder Plus. The membership includes features such as direct messages without matching, unblurred photos, and early access to more new features. Now, let's check in with the weather. Anchor Celeste Slay for a look at your current conditions.
Looking at Oxford current temperatures, we're going to see a high of 86. Partially cloudy, but with the sun beating down, it feels like 88. I have more on weather coming up after the break.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Is my light bright enough? You're such a glow-off.
Well, you know.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. The trees stand tall. Mother, mother, you tell me to stay rooted. The tree's roots go deep. You tell me to focus on my breath, and the trees breathe for the earth. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? Will you be the kind that makes shade, or the kind that shows a new way? Might you be the kind to hug, or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind. The child had a few more questions after that, and the forest had plenty of answers.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Each year, hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. Let's take a look at that current temperature again. We're seeing a high of 86 degrees, but it still feels like 88 with that sunny weather coming in. Winds are blowing in the northeast direction at 6 miles per hour, and there is 0 precipitation. Now looking at the current temperatures across North Mississippi, we're going to see about the same here around South Haven, Holly Springs, Tupelo, and Corinth, where we're in the high 80s, lower 90s. Looking at tonight's temperature, it's going to drop down to 65, partially cloudy skies, and the winds and precipitation are the same as this afternoon's. Tomorrow's weather, we're going to jump back up into that heat with 88 as the high and clear sunny skies, so it's going to be a hot day tomorrow. Winds are the northeast direction at 5 miles per hour, and precipitation is at 0%. Looking across North Mississippi for tomorrow, we're going to see the same. It's going to be hot, and it is going to be very, very hot. As you can see in South Haven, it's going to be 91 degrees, in Tupelo, 90 degrees, and the rest are in the high 80s. Now looking at your 5-day forecast, we're going to see the same. It's going to be hot all week, and we're in the high 80s, and in the evenings, kind of in the lower 60s with 0 precipitation. So Saturday, be sure to bring a little electronic fan to the game because it is going to be a hot one.
Well, I know I'm super excited for this weekend. You know, we're going to be going up against LSU, but so what else do you recommend that we bring to the Grove?
Ooh, you know, towel if you can, because it's going to be hot and you're going to be sweating. Maybe like a little electronic fan, you know, and maybe just like a normal fan, but be sure to stay cool and hydrated. You know, with the Grove going on and that late evening game, you're going to want to stay hydrated throughout the day.
Perfect. Thank you, Celeste. And what else do we have coming up in sports?
Coming up, Lane Kiffin looks ahead to this weekend, and Monday Night Football featured another doubleheader. I'll have that and more up next in sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back. I'm Evan Simmons with Sports Watch. Head football coach Lane Kiffin talked to the media today about their upcoming matchup against LSU. Here's what he had to say in hopes for the Rebs.
Our challenge is to get better this week. I did tell them, hey, we've been in a situation, happened to be in the same situation 2 years ago. Went 3-0, went into Alabama and actually played a lot worse. And that game was 35-0 at one point, and ended up coming back from that game and going 10-2. So got a lot of football in front of us, and a huge one this week, and I would argue maybe the hottest offense in the country.
Ole Miss and LSU will face off this Saturday at the Vault. The game will be aired on ESPN at 5 p.m. Central Time, where you can watch all of the action. Now moving things over to the court. Head men's basketball coach Chris Beard also spoke to the media yesterday and talked about things he looked forward to seeing from his new team.
This team is really where my two questions are on this group is how disciplined are we? Are we going to do the right thing time after time, regardless of score or fatigue or mood or off the court, distractions? Like it comes down to discipline. And the other thing, just a competitiveness. I've always really enjoyed coaching competitive people, where it doesn't matter if it's ping pong before practice or a sprint at the end of practice. I mean, you're either in it to win it or you're not.
Home opener on November 6th versus Alabama State. The Ole Miss men's golf team concluded day one of the SEC Fall Preview at 20 under par and in a tie for fourth place. Head coach Chris Malloy expressed that he was proud of his team for turning it around after a slow start. The Rebels will tee off again tomorrow beginning at 8:40 a.m. We will keep you up to date as the tournament progresses. There was yet another doubleheader in the NFL this week as the Eagles faced the Buccaneers and the Rams faced the Bengals. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts threw for one touchdown and ran for another en route to defeating the Buccaneers 25-11. In the second game of the doubleheader, Joe Burrow and the Bengals defeated the Rams by a score of 19-16. After concerns that Burrow wouldn't be able to play in last night's game, Burrow threw for a season-high 259 yards, leading his team to the first win of the season. And that's all I've got for sports. Be sure to follow us at Rebel_Watch for the latest sports updates.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Hear how one high schooler returned as special gifts to the families of World War II veterans. We'll have more after the break.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Two high school students helping with community cleanup in Kentucky ended up doing more good than they ever intended.
They found a World War II dog tag and returned it with the family from whom it a priceless memento of their beloved patriarch.
Austin Pollock reports.
With your latest news.
And I'm Evan Simmons with Sports Watch.
So we're having some technical difficulties with our package coming up. So how do you think this weekend's going to go?
Well, you know, it was a rough weekend last weekend in Alabama, so hopefully Lane can turn it all around in all three phases, you know. They're going to need to do that.
I'm really hoping the Rebs take on LSU this weekend
really
for
excited
sure.
for the
We
game.
need it.
Yes, very excited. Okay, so besides fans and a towel, what else do you think? Because it's going to be a super hot day. Even though it's an evening game, what else should they bring?
You know, Tylenol, because if you get a headache and too sweaty, I mean, I get headaches whenever I get too hot. So bring some Tylenol, drink a lot of water. That's honestly the best advice I can give. Wear something that's not too tight, not too, heavy, so you can breathe.
Very true, very true. Well, that's all we have for tonight.
Tune in next week. I'm Logan Green.
I'm Juliana Jackson with your latest news.
And I'm Evan Simmons with Sports Watch.
And with Storm Watch, I'm Celeste Lay.
Be sure to keep up with us on our socials and tune in tomorrow at 5. NewsWatch Ole Miss, where we keep it live and keep it local.
I kept hearing them say stop, and I was like,
There's openness off the beaten path.